tea.
Yeah, really nice to be back. I had a good trip, but it's nice to be home. Yeah. All right, this is open mic night.
Although there's no mic.
There's no Mike. Mike is not here. Mike couldn't show up. I've got some water, thank you. If I run
Would
out-
you like a mic? You think
I don't
you
think
can
I
have-
need, no. What do you think?
It's up to you. Whatever's easiest.
I don't think we do.
Okay.
If we do, we'll tackle that problem. So, who's gonna be the brave soul to go first? Brave soul, our leader.
I was in an office today and I was waiting, and there's magazines on the counter, and I have my book in my bag, but, I'm looking over at the magazine, and slowly my hand goes over and then I pick it up and, I'm paging through. And it's like, after all these years, what is the attraction? It's all artificial, stupid, tabloid type stuff with uninterest, really just the mundane, low, intoxicated, all the things that it is. But somehow or other, there's this attraction that, what's so-and-so doing, and, what kind of dress did she wear? And so how is that so embedded in the heart? And how do we, I'm thinking, I could read this Christian book, I read that 10 times, but this is some fresh news.
Yes.
Who's dating who,
Yeah.
So,
Who's having whose baby?
yeah. Who's on drug rehab, and, these things, and we know from our philosophy, we're like, we understand, that this doesn't bring happiness, this doesn't bring satisfaction, but still there's that attraction. So, two-part question. Why are we still attracted to that, and what is the, what is that in our heart that we still find some, pleasure there? Or assumed pleasure, or...
Well, it's because I have that same thing. Sometimes I'll be somewhere like waiting, be waiting, and you'll see some sort of a publication, and right away your intelligence says this is dry, useless. I don't know. A little peek is not going to hurt. I'm just going to check it out, just to see if there's anything different. It used to be really dry and useless, but maybe they've changed it, with all this technology, and there's new personalities that have come along, with new stars and whatever, and they switch around. What was it? Brad leaves one and marries another, and this one's heartbroken. When you go through the supermarket line, you look at the cover, what? They broke up. What, now they broke up? That every time you go, it's some kind of thing. This one's having a baby, and this one's, you think, well, who are these people? If you meet them, they're just really ordinary people, but somehow or other, we give it a chance from time to time. And maybe it's a little something of interest. Just, it's curiosity more than anything. It's not attraction. I don't believe you're attracted to it. I think it's just curiosity. What are they doing now? Because if you're away from it for a long time, you're just kind of curious. See what is it about? What are they doing now? Does that make any sense? I mean, it's not like, oh, I've been waiting for this moment. You're with a waiting room, and you go, oh, goody, look, there's mundane literature. Oh, boy. Thank you, Krishna. You just look at it and you think, I wonder if you've changed. The bad thing is if you, tucked it up under your chowder and brought it home with you. I got to keep this, Or tear out the little card. I don't know if they have those anymore. The little card that you fill out You get a subscription for it. So we'll have to watch the mail and see. Of course, you probably put it under your stage name, you know.
Must have got here by mistake, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I wonder who this is. I'll throw it away. You know, I'll use it for packing. I'll throw it up.
Oh, you put it in a bird cage.
In the bird cage, yeah. The birds can read it. So, yeah, we just have this curiosity about what it's all about right now. Sometimes I'll be someplace where there's a television, and I'm thinking, it's just like it's funny, you know, your hotel room. It's like last night. I set my computer up, and I had a ton of things to do, and it's kind of like there's this television sitting there, and it's kind of like the television goes. What is that? Over here. Huh? Oh, it's you. And it's the same thing. And I think, you know, I've had enough of you. Then you would turn to check out the news. You know, I mean, I don't check out the news. I feel like, you know, if I don't know some news, then people are going to think, well, you're not you're not connected with the world, so, you know, maybe I'll just see what news is on. You know, surfing for, you know, where's the news these days? You know, what is the news? You know, what news channels are there? When they change, you know. And so you come across one, you think, well, this looks really ridiculous. Wow, shut that guy. You know, why did he shoot him? After a few minutes, you think, all right, you know, I put 20 minutes into this, and you know, this is, you know, the heck with the news. You know, and then you hear the news is coming on, and all of a sudden I'm going to turn on the news. Oh, well, the news is coming on. And then like 5 minutes of the news, and you think, this is too much. I can't get any news out of this, you know. They talk about such silly things. You know, if they would tell you we're going to have the silly news and the pertinent news, you know, the news that you might like, you know, like something that's important. I don't know if any of it's really important, but and then they tell you, all right, we're going to have the goofy news about, you know, I don't know, there's just all kinds of goofy stories that they do on the news. Just people, they call it human interest. And we could completely do without it, but a lot of people think it's cute and they tune in for it. So if they would say, all right, from this time to this time, we're going to have some real pertinent news, like there's an earthquake and there's a tsunami, and you know, there's one heading your way, whatever. And then we're going to have this time to this time going to be the cute news. You know, it's just going to be useless. So it's the same thing. It's just like the television was like, come on, you know you want me, you know.
They call it the one-eyed deity.
Yeah, it is. It's just, and
Maybe focus on it and give it, you know, it's like here you take darshan and looking at the deity, so there at the TV, you're like,
yeah, you do a little puja. I should have offered the TV some incense. I might have gotten some good news or something out of it. So, but yeah, it's just that it's a curiosity of what is it like now. You know, if we were attracted, it would be different. You know, what's the attraction? I mean, and all the time that you're reading from cover to cover, I'm sure you. But everything as you're going through, you're thinking, this is ridiculous. You know, you think, this is so stupid. You keep, you know, it's just, it is. But unfortunately, some people get so much into that useless knowledge. You know, they want to know so much about what's going on in the world. And the thing of it is, the lust for information has grown actually quicker than the powers that be can feed it. You know, we want it. So, I mean, and there's tremendous amounts of information available for you, you know. It's just like, well, we've talked about, Sean and I've talked about what do we call those? I'm drawing a blank right now, like, the stories about who shot Kennedy or who blew up the world. Conspiracy, thank you. I just didn't get a hold of that word there. Conspiracy theories. There's such a lust for information that we can't make it up quick enough. It just absolves. It's like, pouring water in the desert. You pour water in sand, it just goes away. You can dig a little dish, pour water, and it'll be there for a minute, and it just soaks right down. You can't, it's insatiable. So the more they throw out, there's some devotees at different temples that I pass through, and I'm going around, around different places, but there's many that I go through on a kind of a regular basis. So I'll go through and they'll be saying, "Hey, did you hear about the Freemasons?" Well, what about, they've got that funny eye on the dollar, and they influence this and blah, 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 and they control the world, and they're going to make us all slaves, and like that, come on, so. Then the next time I go by, I'll say, what's new? Oh, then there's this new, the Illuminati. They're doing this and this and this and this. I say, okay, well, do you think the Illuminati, what did they do, push down the Freemasons? I mean, and they look embarrassed, So you're off the Freemason thing, you're on to the Illuminati now. Well, no, the Freemasons are still trying to control the world. Like, well, I thought you said the Illuminati. Well, they're both trying to do, so, they're all people, there's this tremendous lust for this information, storybook information, excitement, because reality just doesn't seem to satisfy the material need. The material needs are insatiable, you see. I mean, it's just like at one time, I think some of us are old enough to remember that there was a time when there was like 3 channels on television, ABC, NBC, and CBS. And I grew up in Chicago, so we had the Channel 11 and WGN, which was just in Chicago at the time. Channel 11 was all educational, so nobody watched that. And that was it. That's all. And now, how many do they have? There's just
one station would just be variety shows like Lawrence Welk and these kind of simple, musicals and stuff, and then simple sitcoms, like Leave It to Beaver, kind of clean cut.
Yeah. But there's the tremendous demand, and the material energy keeps giving forth more, but it's not satisfying. We want more. We need more conspiracies. Some of them, like the World Trade Center thing, that thing seemed like it went away. They beat that into the ground for so long that I don't hear anybody talk about it anymore. And the thing of it is, yes, there are conspiracies when it comes to this conspiracy thing. Yeah, there always have been. People have conspired to cheat people and to make money. Generally, it's to make money or to get power, which is about the same thing because I need power to get more money. So, are there conspiracies? You bet. Yeah. Are we going to find out about them? Probably not. We find out little bits, and then from that come really nice stories. Yes.
I think that it's for the devotee, whether you believe those conspiracies or not, it doesn't matter that if you watch the news and listen to these things, and even if you believe those theories, it's a good reason to look at it and go, I don't want to come back to this. I don't want to stick around for it. So it's a good reminder. If you go ahead and jump into a stupid story or jump into the news, it's just like, but what a horrible, semi-hellish planet we live in.
Well, the thing of it is, there are conspiracies going on out there, and they're much worse than we know. The ones that we have. somebody gets a piece of something and then somebody tells somebody else and then somebody tells somebody else, and you know how that goes. It completely changes. And then somebody puts it on the internet, and then they start making CDs, you know, all this. So it's just, it should give us the realization, like you're saying, that I don't want any part of this world. It just doesn't do anything for me. It's not refreshing, it's not enlivening, it's just, you know. So let's say that if we take for granted that all these conspiracies are true, all the ones that we hear about, you know, and I don't believe they are. I think that there's conspiracies going on and that there always have been. And I think that the people who are inventing the conspiracies are smart enough to spin off other conspiracy theories to lead people away. It's just smart, you know. People smart enough to do that. So they come out with a lot of conspiracies, like about the World Trade Center. Was there foul play there? I really think so. Who did it? I don't know. But we see all these paths that lead away, evidence trails that'll take you all these places and end up really nowhere, and pointing the finger at this one and that one. And really it's just an intricate trick from the mastermind that has all this stuff to lead you away from him. You know, it's been going on for thousands of years. You know, this is nothing new. So it's just that we have, some people say, well, we have the advantage of mass communication now, so we can track these things down. But the people who are propagating these heinous activities, they know how to use the mass media as well, you know, to help them. So they come up with all these stories, and it's just what people get tangled up in them. And what is the truth? Oh, well, we probably won't know. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. You say. But, you know, some people get so into it. They're just so devoted to it. I think I told you this, but I'll tell it again. There's a joke that Judge Maharaj told me about this conspiracy theorist guy. He and his friend are out fishing, and the conspiracy theorist says, you know, George Bush blew up the World Trade Center, and he goes, no, get out of here, that's crazy. He doesn't have the brains to do that. And, you know, Fidel Castro actually killed JFK. No, that's crazy. And he said, no. He says, how do you think they could, one guy says to him, how do you think they could cover up something like that? He says, I'll tell you, these conspiracies, they go all the way to the top. He says, really? He says, yeah, they go all the way to the top. So about that time, the boat was capsized by a wave and they drowned. And they go to heaven, you know. And people think everybody goes to heaven. You die, you go to heaven. You know? So here they are in heaven, and they're sitting there with God. And they're saying, God says, welcome, glad to have you, you know. But you know, he says, turns to the conspiracy theory guy. He says, you know, just so you know, Oswald did kill Kennedy, the act alone. And Osama bin Laden blew up the World Trade Center, and it was his plan, just like the news said, you know. And so the guy, conspiracy theorist guy, turns to his partner. He says, see what I mean? It goes all the way to the top. So they will believe anybody. They're sold on it. And some people get angry, you know. I've seen devotees, they're almost ready to fight. You know, you mean you believe? You don't believe? Hold on, okay, but you know, can I just say I don't know? You know, because it's like, well, if you don't agree, then you're part of the conspiracy. Aha, they got to you, didn't they? You know, so it's just like, oh. Did you have a question, John?
I was just going to say, I think the reason why I was so interested in such things is it's a form of weird self-medication in a way, because with this philosophy, it's not fine print. It's Hollywood size print that this world is just absolute nonsense.
Yeah.
And I think there's a part that in my nature I could just completely be cold to it. And I think that in my psychology I was frightened of being so removed, of not caring, I think. And I think conspiracies like this kind of help you to remain somewhat conscientious and
Yeah.
somewhat up above on what's going
But
on.
they should remind us that there's a constant conspiracy going on. The
Yeah.
material energy is constantly conspiring to draw our attention away from Krishna. That's the nature of this world. You know, the magazine will wink at you and, you know, tell you what you want. Television, they're all doing their thing. Look at, it's just like as soon as you get off this property, you start seeing all these billboards and start telling you, buy this, buy that. Use my service, and whatever. You see, it's getting worse and worse. They're trying to attract our attention more and more and more all the time. You see, that's the nature of the material energy, to attract you away from Krishna. We've come here looking to get away from Krishna. You see, that was our mission. We wanted to get him out of the center of our attention. And we wanted to become the center of attention. Anyway, we wanted to become him. But we wanted to be separate from him. So that think of it, he's being kind. He's giving you what you want. He's giving you, enthusing your faith in the material energy. It's just like whatever demigod you choose to worship, he'll enthuse your faith to worship that demigod. He'll give you the power. He'll give you the articles to worship the demigod. You see, they all come from him. He'll enthuse your relationship with that particular demigod, if you would prefer that over him. So the whole material nature works like that. You see, it's here to say, come and embrace me. I'm your friend. You know you'd rather have me. What has Krishna done for you? Lately. Yeah. What do you do for you today? How many times does he ask you to surrender, huh? I'm not asking you to surrender. I want you to come embrace me. I'm really what this Krishna says he is.
So is Maya the equivalent of what the biblical scholars would say is the death of the temperature, is the one that's trying to pull you away from God?
Yeah, but without the
Someone.
horns and the pointed tail and all that stuff, Yeah.
But Maya is allowed to do what Maya does under Krishna's direction.
Yeah, I mean, she's a pure devotee. She's here. Krishna says, all right, they want to go be away from me. So give them something. There isn't anything but me. This is illusion, you see, to think that I can be away from Krishna. That's not possible. There's nothing but Krishna. But he doesn't want you to come to that rude awakening, or else you might feel like you're a prisoner. You feel like, I want to see if there's something better, you see. So he says, all right, you can go check. So he sends Maya, okay, go out there and give them something to pursue.
Can I go off a little bit?
Sure.
So do the real lower underbelly of, say, society, or the ghastliness,
Mm-hmm.
is that coming from Maya, or is it from the Yamadutas, or Shiva, or all of the above?
Well, that's interesting. I was reading the other night in the Nectar of Devotion, and Rupa Goswami talks about that, this rasa of ghastliness, the ghastly rasa. So, do you know what it really comes down to? What is most prominent in ghastly rasa? Is when I remember the things that I've done that aren't devotional. It's ghastly, you see. Separation from Krishna in that ghastly mode. I'm feeling separation because I've been so sinful, you see. So it's really us that are behaving without Krishna consciousness. If you take away Krishna consciousness, it's just like if you take away light, there's darkness. If you take away heat, there's cold. If you take away Krishna consciousness, there's evil. The evil is anything un-Krishna conscious. Anything. And there's different degrees of evil, you know, just like there's different degrees of darkness or cold. You may have a room that's 50 degrees, so there's some heat there. You may be in a dimly lit room, so there's some light. So you may be in a situation where there's evil, but there's some good, you see. And the more you remove Krishna from the equation, the more quote unquote evil there is. So, what is it? Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of man? Who used to say that?
My shadow knows.
Only the shadow knows. Yeah. Yeah. Evil lurks in the heart of man. And, you know, we get evil as we dismiss Krishna from our consciousness. We become evil, more and more evil, to varying degrees. You know, now a lot of people don't want to admit, you know, that, yeah, I guess I am evil when I'm not Krishna conscious. A lot of people don't want to think of themselves as evil, but just look at the world that consumes so much meat, that supports thousands and thousands of slaughterhouses. You know, how many millions of animals are killed every day? You know, I mean, look at all the testing on animals. I mean, it's ghastly. It's horrible. This is coming from the hearts of men. And they would say, you know, their family would say, well, my husband's not an evil man. Say, he runs a slaughterhouse, big deal. He's got to support us somehow. I mean, when he comes home, he's not like, you know. He comes home and his children say, hi, Daddy. It's time, can you take me to soccer tonight? You know, sure, come on. So, people don't recognize the evil. It's hard to say.